It's not showing. There it goes. There. It's not showing. There it goes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Mmm, quarantine times.
I got the volume muted.
Is anybody on?
Just us.
Cool. You should screen grab this right here. This is what we're talking about.
Well, stand there so I can. It's on like a 5-second delay. So you gotta be where you want to be. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Snipping.
Hold on. There we go. I like this one.
Okay. Got it.
There has to be a better tool than snipping tool. I use snipping tool for work too, and I hate it.
There is. Hi, Jerry.
Oh, is Jerry there? Is she with Joshy? Do you guys like my new mask? My quarantine mask? It's killer, huh? Killer, like a Black Widow.
Sean and our Spake are here.
Wow! Well, let's get going, Spakey.
Oh, Jerry says it's just her. She says it was hot.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Over the Counter with David Spake. I'm your host, Donald Trump. And here is our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cook. My gorgeous husband, David Spake, is going to be cooking for Chamorro food for you today. But to get the day started off, we wanted to make sure that we showed off our amazing, cool new quarantine masks. Mm-hmm. If you need masks, we have a friend who's making them, and they're all kinds of cool fabrics, so just let us know. But I'm going to get the day started with a martini, and I wanted to let you all know, what my recipe for a martini is. And it's really quite simple. Martinis are classic, they're simple, really just vodka for me. I prefer a vodka martini, not gin. As David knows, I'm not good with gin. You want a cool, badass, retro tumbler like this. Just a bunch of ice, some vodka in here, and then you just shake it. And I've already pre-mixed this with a little bit of Marionberry juice to get a little bit of flavor, and I wanted to share with you all what my secret ingredient is. And trust me, I know how to make a good drink. My secret ingredient is this, Clorox. This is a can of Clorox wipes that we buy, usually just to disinfect around the house. But always at the end of your use, when you've used your last Clorox wipe, there's a little bit of, liquid left at the bottom. That disinfectant kind of seeps out and just collects. That's the backwash. That's the backwash disinfectant that you want. It goes right into your glass, into the ice, into the vodka martini. And I have to say, Grey Goose goes best with Clorox, so I highly recommend that. And by the way, once you do that, just again, into the shaker with some ice. I like mine really cold, so I use a lot of ice and just shake. Again, Grey Goose vodka, because we have expensive tastes here. Got that Clorox in there. A little bit of taste, that antiseptic taste, And like I said, I mixed it in with some berry juice.
It really brightens your palate.
Really brightens your palate, exactly. So, cheers to you all. I will now get out of the way and turn it back over to my gorgeous assistant / husband, David Spake. So, cheers, my love.
Hello.
And I'll be manning the chat.
Did you want this? You don't need a straw.
I don't need a straw. I'm just going to chug it.
All right. So, enough fun. That was a joke for anybody who came in while Jeremy was talking, but it was kind of funny. Let's see. One moment while I get my stuff together.
What are you going to be cooking today, babe?
Well, first I'm going to do my formal introduction.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for watching. I'm David Spake. This is Over the Counter with David, and that's me. Today we're going to be making some food that was favorites of mine and the family's. When we lived in Guam, we were there for 15 years, and this is just one of the best to me out of the whole lot of everything. So we're going to make Kadon Pika, which is a spicy chicken. It's kind of in a stew pot, but it's not like a thick stew. It's really about the chicken. We'll make red rice, which is the standard way of making rice in Guam. It's pretty much what everybody expects at any get-together. People eat white rice at any time, but if you go to a fiesta or somebody's house, or if you're having a party, somebody is always assigned to bring red rice. So we'll cover that, and not particularly Chamorro in style necessarily, is we're going to have like a cucumber tomato salad, just something on the side. That was one of the things that I did, remember, I guess, looking back, is there wasn't a whole lot of green vegetable dishes that were primarily featured. It was usually about the rice and the seafood and the meat and the chicken and things like that. And that appeals to me, other than the seafood. But, everybody's got what they like. So, today, we will start by, I'm debating. Let's start by just doing the Kadon Pika.
So you use some words I've never heard before. You use the word Chamorro. What is that?
Chamorro is the indigenous people from Guam, and it represents probably about a third of the total population at this point. But they are the Guamanian people and the Chamorros. Or the Chamorros are the Guamanian people. All right, so I'm going to just get a pot out while we're prepping. Actually a pressure cooker, but it'll work fine. I kind of wanted the narrower pot. Then I need a chicken. Got a nice fresh chicken from the butcher yesterday. We're going to break this down and put it into a bunch of little parts. And then we need an onion. We need some garlic. We will need some peppers that I have actually taken here. This is really, on the recipe, I called for like Thai chilies or some small chili pepper like that. When I went to the store in the Northwest, we are out of season for that particular type of pepper. So I bought arbol chilies, which are standard in like more Mexican food. They're just hot chili peppers, and I rehydrated these because they were dehydrated. So I soaked them for a little while till they softened up so that I could cut them without them shattering everywhere. Not necessarily a problem, it's just more for aesthetics and control. We will need vinegar and soy sauce also for this meal. I should have taken these viruses off just in case. Ow. Is anybody cooking along today? Does anybody know how to break down a chicken? Oh,
Someone's asking that in the online recipe you said 35 peppers. Did you mean to say 3 to 5 peppers?
yes. So I didn't realize that the recipe unit that I've got on the website wouldn't take ranges of degrees. So I put 3-5 and it removed the dash when it went up on the website. So I have fixed that. It does say 3 to 5 now. Sorry. If you have a lot of peppers, I'm very sorry. Hopefully you can use them. All right. Okay, so we've got a whole chicken, and what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into little parts. The easiest way is if you have a very sharp knife, or the easiest way is to buy it in pieces at the grocery store, but I like to cut them apart myself. So I have a very sharp little knife here, and we will start up here at the wing, I guess.
So, babe, this is actually something I don't know, and you always yell at me for using the wrong knife. You have a lot of knives.
Yes.
What is the right knife for stuff? How do you know what's the right knife? If I look at all the knives you've got back there, I would just grab the first one. I don't even care. So tell me what I'm supposed to be using.
All right, so let me wash my hands to get this chicken juice off.
And Jason Crawford wants to know, can that knife cut through a tin can? Because if not, it's not a sharp knife.
Well, what was that brand of knife called? I'm trying to remember. It was like Ninja something. Anyway, no, it doesn't cut through a tin can, but it will cut through a tomato or through
a tomato?
A tomato?
My fingernail can cut through a tomato.
Well, you can pierce a tomato with your fingernail, but you can't really cut it. We'll show in a little bit. Actually, we will need a tomato in a later dish. So we'll just set this aside to show the difference here in the sharp knife as we talk about knives. All right. This is a little utility knife. It's good for paring if you need to cut something with your, like if you're peeling an apple or something.
Can't really see it up against your shirt.
Oh. Is it visible?
Yep.
All right. So it's great for its utility because you're able to get it into small spaces and turn it, but you don't have a lot of chopping power with it. It's for smaller things and smaller places so that you have a little more dexterity as you're trying to do something. The sharper they are, most knives, and actually all knives, the sharper they are, the better.
Jerry wants to know how my Clorox in my Martini is treating me, and just so you know, Jerry, really well, thank you very much. And also everyone's telling you that it's the Ginsu knife is the word you're looking for. Yeah, Ginsu.
Ginsu. So, let's see, trying to get the knife where it's visible. This is a small chef knife. It's the Santoku style, which means it's got a large lip here, and it's rounded here. It's very like a chef knife in shape. I have two different, well, a couple other knives here we'll talk about. But this is a good general utility knife. You have a little more blade surface for being able to work and rock the knife and cut things like vegetables and things like that.
I really can't see them at all.
You can't?
No.
So, this is the utility knife that I was talking about.
There you go, that's better.
This is the Santoku type. It's a Japanese style chef knife. This is a Western style chef knife.
Well, that's big.
If we compare it against the utility knife, this is really good for just mass chopping and cooking. This is the type these are the two types that people typically will have. I'm trying to catch the lights so that they're both visible.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
These are one of the two types that most people have in their kitchen. Unfortunately, most people's knives are not very sharp, which actually presents a risk. This is a slicer. It's very like the chef knife, but it's a little bit more narrow.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a little narrower, and it's a little longer, and if you notice, the knife here that I'm shaking has more of a rounded blade than this one over here. So this one by design is for cutting something larger like meat, like a roast or something like that, that would be more of a slice. It's not really as good for chopping on a chopping block because it doesn't have the same curvature that will help you rock the blade as you're chopping. All right, so this one's for slicing. This one's for chopping.
Huh.
All right. Of course, you can use any knife for any of these. It's just the shapes help it be more productive and easier to do the particular task with. I also have this baby cleaver, or it's actually a Japanese vegetable knife. If you ever go to a sushi restaurant and you see like the cucumber is made into a giant like peel, they go around and just make like a big sheet of cucumber out of one cucumber. This is the knife that they use to do that. Gives them a lot of control. It's smaller than a chef knife in length, so you've got more controllability, I guess is really the best word. So if I'm just chopping vegetables, I would use one of these 3 knives. Of course, is this showing so you can see the counter?
Yeah.
I think. Oh, okay. I don't know if you can see where the chicken and the knives are.
You can.
All right. So actually, I'm going to put this towel down so the knives don't slide off the board. Hopefully. All right. So if you're going to Is that visible? Mm-hmm. All right, so if you're going to cut vegetables, I would use one of these 3. If I was going to slice a meal to serve to people, I would tend to use this knife. All right. Any other?
Nope.
Was that enough?
Yeah,
Did I
think
give
that's
enough
plenty.
description?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to put all these other knives back. You'll notice I actually have 2 of these utility knives.
There's also a massive glare in the thing. Where's that coming from?
Is it from this
I
leg?
can't tell. See what I mean?
Up in the window?
In the cabinet, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
So it's the other one. I can't see now.
There you go. There you go. Yep. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Well,
Now
no, it's good. Now it's good. Now it's good.
All right. All right. Okay, so now that we've gone over the knives, we'll set this board aside. I'm going to break the chicken down. I've got my sharp knife. It's going to start up here at the wings and get them off first. You just cut into the joint where the wing is. Of course, probably should start with the leg, but let's see.
Jerry says the glare is much better. Thanks, Jerry.
Yay. All right. So, if you use a sharp knife, you can let the knife do more of the work. You get down into the joint, get between it, and let's see if I can do this. Oh, it's already cut. Just take this other one off. There we go. Take the legs off. I just popped the joint back a little bit so that I can get into it more easily with the knife. I'm trying to figure out how to show this so that you can see. All right, where's the joint? There we go. All right. Pop the joint back, go around the area. Expose. Where's the joint bone go together? Did I get it? Don't I look great right now? Professional? There we go. And I'll take off the thigh. It's largely the same idea as with the leg. Find where the bone joins into the meat body of the chicken. Just run the knife through and it will come off. All right. So after this, we've got different pieces and parts. We're going to keep it all for flavor. But I'm not going to chop up these larger pieces because this is really the bone on the backbone, and I'm going to keep it for the flavor it gives, but I don't want to shatter the bone myself because it will result in little bone shards in the dish, which are fine, but it's not what I'm after. So we'll just take off the breast and the little chicken tender, do the other side. So, there we go. I'm going to get rid of the core carcass. You could keep it for a soup, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to just break this down into slightly smaller pieces with the chicken up here so that we can pull them out of the pot later. All right. And during that, that's a lot of times why on broadcast shows you have underground music that's going on while there's things that require concentration so you don't cut yourself. We wash this off. We get the chicken juices off it. Is everybody having a good day today? Anything new and exciting in your coronavirus world? Drying mat for this. Alright. So the base of the chicken is ready. We'll set that aside. We will cut up all of the vegetable parts of the dish. And I'm going to just put them all into this little pot here, or this bowl. So we need 1 onion. I'm going to use one of the larger knives.
Sean says this is her excitement today.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm excited that everybody decided to come in. All right. I'm going to roughly chop this into rather large chunks rather than like fully mincing it. So I'm not going to go to the effort that I did last week on the show where I was trying to more finely chop the onion where I did the cross cut. This time it's like this. Works great, but I'm not doing the side cut because I want larger chunks of onion today. And then on the recipe, we talked about garlic. You can put really as much garlic as you like. We usually call for 2 to 4. I'm going to just do 3 for today. Break the garlic out of the paper.
Jason Crawford says he's been watching for several minutes and he hasn't said BAM once. I know, David needs a catchphrase. He needs to amp up the energy level in some way.
Other than darn.
Other than darn.
Yeah.
And then Sean says, what, no drinking games today?
Oh, we should. What do we want to do?
And then, oh yeah, that's right. Jerry just said, hey, by the way, if he says, Jason, you want to tell Jason that if he says darn, you have to drink. Yeah, Jason.
That's the standing.
That's our standard thing, Jason. David's kind of like verbal tick is always, he just says, darn, darn. So you'll hear it quite a lot, I'm sure. So just, you know, listen up.
Okay, so we've got the onions and the garlic set aside in this bowl. I used way too big of a bowl, but it's totally fine. I want to pre-slice my little peppers. So I'm going to take a few of them out. Here.
Jerry says, you're sleepy David Spake, it seems, today.
Oh, really? No, I feel good. It's just getting going, I guess. So I'm going to put in 4. Really, this is where you're going to control how much heat you have. If you were to pull out the seeds and what's on the inside of the pepper, it would have a lot less heat, but it is a spicy dish by nature, so I'm leaving them intact.
Jerry loves garlic.
Yeah. So these are about 1/4 inch chops. I'm going to set that as, actually, I want more. It's a lot of chicken. I want it all to be spicy enough. So Kadun is chicken and Pika means spicy. And that's what this is. So it all comes together. Then we're going to need to saute in a pot. Now that we have everything ready, it's really pretty simple except measuring out the soy sauce and the vinegar that we're going to use. But first we want to brown the onions and the garlic for just, well, really quickly. I'll turn the stove on because things cook better hot. and I had forgotten to turn it on. Okay. So we're going to brown the garlic and the onions briefly. Then we're going to add the chicken. We're going to put the chicken in. We're going to brown it, and then we're going to put in the liquid ingredients. We're going to bring the whole thing to a boil, and then we're going to turn it back down, cover it, and let it simmer for 30 minutes to an hour.
Sean says, spicy by nature can be the phrase of the day. And Carrie Lehman is here.
Hi.
Hi, Carrie. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Carrie is now having a secret love affair with David behind my back, and I'm jealous about it. But Carrie says she's hungover and moving slow, but her sister's making her Bloody Mary, and she's cooking along today.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, Carrie, hungover cooking. That's brave, my friend.
Right? All right, so we will need, while the pot's heating up, we'll need a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Don't worry, it doesn't taste vinegary when it's done. When you cook the vinegar in with the soy sauce and the chicken, it actually takes on a really nice flavor. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of soy. We'll just get that all done so that we don't have to mess with it later.
Jason Crawford wants to know, he said he's got, I'm guessing this is going to be a joke. Okay. He says, ask David if he knows why the lifeguard couldn't save the hippie.
I do not know.
Tell us, Jace. Tell us. Do you want people to see what you're pouring into that bowl? Because it's not on screen. I can adjust it if you'd like.
Oh, I was just pouring out the 1/2 cup of soy sauce that would be needed in the recipe. So we got the 1/2 cup of soy into a measuring cup and a 1/4 cup of vinegar.
Okay.
I'm going to just put these over here where they'll be handy. Not adding a lot of...
And Jason said the reason that the lifeguard didn't save the hippie is because he was too far out, man.
That was terrible.
That's a terrible joke, Jason, but I love it. I love terrible jokes like that.
Right?
David actually loves, David has like, you love like dad jokes like that.
I do. I like puns and I like things that are quasi-clever.
You love emo.
I do love emo. Emo Phillips.
I just love normal emo.
What?
I just love normal emo.
Right? So, in the pot I put about 2 tablespoons of oil. It's pretty hot now. I'm putting in the onions and the garlic. Alrighty.
Sean wants to know what brand soy sauce you're using.
I'm using Kikkoman.
Yes, Sean, you were right.
Alright. So this
Very
is
much, Sean wants to know if we're soy sauce snobs. Absolutely we are.
Yes. Not as bad as our grandfather Sean, but yes. My grandfather used to insist on Chinese brand soy sauce in Chinese restaurants and Japanese brand soy sauce in Japanese restaurants.
That's just ridiculous.
Yes.
Everything should be Japanese all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so we can hear this going. I hope you can hear it.
I can hear it, yeah.
It smells great. All right, I'm going to just put in about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm using pre-ground pepper for ease today. All right, now I'm going to add in the chicken. Smells so good.
So Sean, since you asked if we're soy sauce snobs, are you also a soy sauce snob? Jason Crawford, what are you doing today, other than watching David cook, obviously? I'm just curious. And, let's see here. I have not scrolled up in the chat to see who else is here, but...
So while he's
Your
scrolling...
mother is here. Your father is here. Sean. Obviously. Jason, Jerry, Carrie. Cool.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Angie Fiddler just joined in.
Hi, Angie.
And Ryan, I believe Marjorie. That's Mark. Who is that?
Who?
Anyway, she says Kikkoman is the king of soy sauce. I don't even like the brand show you. Angie says, hey.
Hey! So what I'm doing here is I'm actually just cooking the chicken up with the onions, and I'm just trying to get it to where the meat is lightly browned. I'm not trying to go for a full browning of the chicken and make it all crispy, because it's a soupy dish. It's not a, what do you call it? It's not like fried chicken where you pick it up and eat and you have crackly skin. It's more like soupy.
So Tina D is here, so is Roddy, and also I was right, MM line is Margie.
Hi Margie, hi Tina. Both of them lived in Guam.
Okay, and your mother's here, like I said, yeah?
Yeah. And of course the whole family.
And your dad, yeah, okay.
All right. Well, it sure smells good.
Jason Crawford said he's drinking some of Seattle's best coffee.
Oh, really? Cafe Vita?
There's actually a brand called Seattle's Best.
I know, I was trying to be funny by mentioning what maybe might be one of Seattle's best coffees.
Jason Crawford, next time you visit, I'll take you to my favorite place. It's called Cafe Vita, and they have really great coffee. There's a couple locations, but also a lot of the restaurants around here serve it as their default. So it's a damn fine cup of coffee, Jason Crawford.
Damn fine. All right. So while this is going, the other thing we're going to make today is going to be red rice and Finadene. Finadene is trying to think. It's a condiment that they use in Guam on top of most every meal that would be like a fiesta type meal. It's a hot soy sauce, and it's also used, if you take the same ratios and amp it and increase them a little bit, it's used as a marinade for meat and for barbecue, and it's particularly excellent. So if you think about it and you're wanting to like barbecue some chicken or some short ribs or something, this is what most of the people in Guam would do, is take the same Finadene recipe and put it over as a marinade. So it's got a lot of utility to it. I'm mainly wanting not to burn the onions while I brown the chicken, so. Okay. All right, it's getting there. So for the Finadene, it's not very big or very much to it. It's largely the same flavors that we just put into the Kadon Pika, to the chicken dish. And what we will do is we'll take a couple of these peppers, take another onion. Is there an onion up there? Yeah, I'll use this guy. Whoops.
Did you want to, you have white onions in the bowl to the left up there, by the way, if that's what you're looking for.
I decided I was going to use the yellow one this time.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to add we'll get back to the Finadene in a moment. For the chicken, I'm going to add the soy sauce and add the vinegar. It's really super simple. And the peppers. So I am going to, it's already boiling. Pot was quite warm. So I'm turning it down to low. And I'm just putting the lid on to just keep the moisture in. It is a pressure cooker, but I'm not putting it on to that. I'm not turning on the pressure, as it were. And I'll just occasionally go over and stir it while we're cooking the rest of the things today.
Carrie wants to know if you split the breast. She missed that part.
Oh, so what I did is I took the wings and the legs off entirely, the thigh off entirely, and then I carved the breast off the carcass of the chicken itself, and then I just cut the breast meat into chunks.
Margie says her kids love Finadene. Her oldest went to Guam for 6 months, the other son had never been there.
Oh, wow. How long ago was that? All right. So, for the Finadene, we're going to use more garlic, not garlic, onions, peppers, soy sauce, vinegar, and a green onion. If I remember where we put them. Here we go. Take out a green onion. This is very, very easy. You just mix it up, set it aside, and let it rest until you're ready to eat it. So this time I'm going to chop the onion into smaller bits than I did for the chicken. Take off a little bit of root that was left. And I do a cross cut. Then we'll do some vertical slices this way. And then the final slice this way, and everything's cut into nice, relatively uniform sized pieces. That's a lot of onion.
I love a lot of onion though.
Okay.
Margie says her oldest son went in 2010 because her parents went back to Guam to go work at a church.
Okay.
And then her son joined the army on Guam.
Oh wow. All right, so I'm going to just add this green onion also. Notice I'm using the chef knife we talked about because I'm rocking the blade to go through the onion. I'm not trying to force it, because what you end up doing is you end up squishing the vegetable and bruising it rather than slicing it. So you end up with a mushier result if you just force down through the body of it. And there we go. So we'll put the green onion in. Now there's really two ways basically to make it. Finadene pretty much has in common some onions and peppers, and then vinegar, but what does change is whether you use soy sauce or lemon juice. And typically for lighter meats and lighter flavors, you tend to find more lemon juice based Finadene. And the heartier flavors, or the meats and things like that, you'll find with the soy sauce base. Alright, so we got our little bowl of onions and green onions and red pepper. And then let's see, we'll put in about a 2-to-1 ratio with soy sauce being the larger part. So I'll put in a full measure of soy. I'm going to pull this off the top so it'll pour. And then we'll do half as much vinegar. All right. We'll mix it up and let it sit.
Margie says, too bad you don't have, and I don't know how to say this word, B-O-O-N-I-E peppers. Boonie peppers?
Yeah. Right. So in Guam, the actual peppers that you find are not like these types of chilies. They're a more indigenous pepper that is a green or to red, very hot pepper. I think they call boonie peppers there. All right. So it's just going to sit and meld together. And like I said, you take this exact same mixture, increase the amount of onions and vinegar and soy sauce, peppers, and use it as a marinade for meat. It's particularly good. I'm going to make sure the chicken is still simmering. Give it a quick stir about. I'm actually going to move it to this burner over here in a moment, so I'm going to turn it on and get it warm. All right, so the other thing, as I dump food on the counter here, we're going to really do is put together the rice. Today's going to be shorter than last week. We're going to put together the rice. Red rice is rice that's flavored with achote or atsuete or anato, depending on where you're from and what people call it there. It is a...
Jerry says she was very skeptical about vinegar in food, but when mixed with soy, it results in a great tangy taste. Is that called umami?
Umami is the flavor it's the unctuous, earthy flavor that is present in soy sauce. So it does give an umami flavor to the food that you use.
But umami also means, it doesn't necessarily mean something, a specific taste. It's kind of like a general sense of, it's like a general sense of, oh my god, this is great, or yum.
Right.
So like umami kind of means like, it's a very vague term.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's the most recently agreed upon flavor, sweet and sour and spicy, and then umami is the new one. So I'm going to come around the camera and show you what these look like. All right, so this is an achote seed. It's a small, quasi-triangular shape. It's very hard. Whoops, there we go. But they are used all over the world, but not for eating the seed itself, but for the coating that's on the seed. So you put a few tablespoons into a bowl.
Jerry says she loves the word unctuous.
Unctuous.
Unctuous. My favorite word, do you remember what my favorite word is, David? It's extrapolate.
Extrapolate, yes.
What's your favorite word, audience? Carrie says, I have dried, and I don't know, guys, I don't know anything about food, ARBOL chilies.
Arbol chilies?
Arbol chilies.
So,
or fresh serranos. Which would David recommend?
these serranos are going to give you, I'm trying to think. I would put the red chilies, the dried ones, into the chicken. And in this case, I would probably do a mix of the dried chilies and the serranos in the Finadene, because the dried chilies, it's going to take them a while before they rehydrate and start to kind of release the heat and the flavor into what you've made. So I would probably put them both in the marinade or the Finadene. But it would not hurt anything to have one or both of them in the chicken. So I also have powdered achote, which is what's on the outside of this seed. But I'm going to do it the traditional way because that's the way I've always done it. I've got a kettle running for some hot water. I'm going to just pour hot water over these seeds and then let them rest so that the water will moisten what's on the outside of them.
Jerry says moist.
Moist.
And Jason Crawford's favorite word is logarithm. That's a great word.
It is.
That's a great word. Algorithm is also a great word. But yeah, extrapolate's mine. David, what's your favorite word?
I don't know. Darn it.
Jerry's favorite word, I think, is moist.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next thing that you need to do, and this is what kind of separates red rice a little bit from any other way I've made it, and it's not standard in America, is that we're going to rinse the rice repeatedly before we actually cook it. There's a lot of powdered starch, rice powder, on the rice, and when you cook the rice, it thickens up everything in the pot. And because we're adding a little bit of oil and other things to the rice, it's already going to thicken a little bit. So we want to tamp that down from the rice itself. All right. Going to use 3 cups of rice. I'm using long grain rice here. You can, 3 cups plus a little bit.
Jerry did want to verify that her favorite word is in fact moist.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll just set this guy aside for the moment. So we've got just 3 cups of rice, and I'm taking some cold water, and I'm literally going to put it in here, stir it up. And when you do this, you'll notice that the water immediately itself turns white. Can you see that? How white the water is as I'm pouring it out. So we want to rinse the rice until the water runs clear. Just stirring it around a little bit. Pour off the milky water with all the extra starch.
Margie wants to know why long grain as opposed to medium or short grain.
Because this is what Aunt Becky did in Guam, and everybody really liked her rice, so I'm copying the way she did.
Who is this? Who?
We had a number of sisters who went to our church, Auntie Tita and Auntie Becky Beck, and then a couple others. And anyway, so they were they did a lot of the cooking for the traditional dishes when we'd have like a party at the church or something like that. And so that's what it is.
Your father says his favorite word is telepathetic, which is, I don't think even a real word. I think you made that up.
But
it's a good one. That is a great word. That's a great word.
It is. Decided to use a sieve so I could more easily drain the rice instead of trying to hold it back by hand. All right.
David, you didn't say what your favorite word is.
I don't know that I have a favorite word.
Come on.
What would be one that I've always thought was funny?
Well, you say darn a lot.
I say darn a lot, but it's not a favorite word as in something I love. It's just something, it's the alternative to cussing.
I just cuss.
I don't know. Is there anything I love to say?
I think your favorite word should be Jeremy.
Jeremy? Why would that be? Just gonna stir the chicken real quick.
Actually, I can make up some favorite words for you if you like.
Right. I mean, my dad did.
Let me take some guesses for you.
Sure.
I think your favorite word is fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
Carrie says her favorite word is riboflavin.
Okay.
And Margie says, my 10-year-old said her favorite words are the words she can't pronounce. I hear ya.
She can't pronounce or she gets in trouble if she tries.
Riboflavin is good.
Right.
Telepathetic is good. I'm just not sure if it's real, but I think it's funny.
Yes. What's red rice rinse? Oh, I didn't
Unctuous is
write
a great word. And Jerry says, again, her favorite word is moist. She wanted to remind you of that.
Right. That's not Jeremy's favorite word.
I hate that word. Sean's favorite word is, okay, I don't even think I can pronounce this, you guys. So hold on, let me try. Sesquipedalian. Hold on. Sesquipedalian? I don't know how to pronounce it, but here's how it's spelled, David.
Okay.
Sesquipedalian. I've never heard that word. I'm Googling it right now. Carrie wants to know what's the vinegar to soy sauce ratio. She missed that.
Basically it's 2 to 1.
2 to 1, Carrie.
2 soy sauce, 1 vinegar. Right.
So I am Googling that word. Okay.
All right.
So the pronunciation according to this dictionary online says sesquipedalian. Okay, sesquipedalian, and it means polysyllabic or long, characterized by long words being long-winded. So you're describing me, Sean. I hear you. Okay, I caught that joke. Sesquipedalian. I've learned a new word today. Thank you. Sesquipedalian.
All right.
Also, Sean, you spelled it wrong. And then Carrie says, thanks for, reviewing the ratio because
sure.
her vodka hasn't kicked in yet. Carrie, catch up. Mine certainly has kicked in.
Jeremy started the show with vodka.
I started the show with a vodka Clorox Martini mix.
Yeah.
You missed my my opening number. David's opening number. And then we had our masks on and everything. Don't worry, I'll make another appearance for you later, Carrie. And then Sean says she's also a lover of big words. I also love big words, Sean, but I've never heard that one, sesquipedalian. Or do you mean someone who is sesquipedalian is someone who loves big words? Carrie says, oh no, that she missed the entry. All right, hold on.
All right.
Let me put my mask back on, because Carrie, you gotta get the full quarantine fashion look, babe. Okay, your father says the verses of, he's using it in in context, the word sesquipedalian, excuse me. The verses of 16th century English poet Stephen Hawes are as full of barbarous sesquipedalian Latinisms. That's certainly in context.
Funny. So I'm grinding up my little achiote seeds in the water. It's cooled down a bit, trying to knock some of the coating off of them. But these are the most disappointing ones I've ever had, and I am so happy that I bought the powder to augment this. You want to come and show her your fashion?
Yeah. All right. Oh, hold on, Carrie. Your quarantine fashion's coming for you, babe. Do you like my mask? See, it's got like a black widow on it. Cool, right? And then David has one. I'll put David's on. Well, I'm not going to put it on.
He'll hold it over his face.
David's is cool. So we have a friend, her name is, my friend John Shepard knows a friend. So it's a friend of a friend. Her name is Larkin. And she's making masks. And she has a little Etsy shop. And they're very cool. She has all kinds of cool different patterns. And then I have another one in the bathroom. But anyway, I liked this one. I like this one because of the Black Widow. Cute, right? Also haven't shaved in 2 weeks.
All right. So, in a better world...
In a better world? There is no better world than quarantine world, David, don't you know?
True. So I'm just quickly straining out the seeds off of this. Very disappointed, but you still can get the idea of what we're hoping for. If I had added more seeds and a little more time, sure I could have got more off of it, but I'm happy to cheat. Whoops, I wanted that bowl.
Marty says now she realizes why she loves your family so much. They're all word nerds.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can really see it, but the water is a little bit orangey. I'm going to augment that with some of this powder. Where did I put it? Right there on the counter. Oh, that didn't cut at all.
Jason Crawford says, this is the only cooking show with the majority audience of sesquipedalians. Everyone's testing my pronunciation.
Oh, yeah.
Am I getting it right? I think I am.
Yeah. All right. I just put in a little spoon of it. Add this together, we'll mix it up. If you have fresher achiote, you end up with much darker water. Or if you use the paste, you can buy a paste, or you can use the powder like I did. All of them work. Just add it into the bowl with the rice. Give it a quick mix around. And it makes kind of a, I don't know, coppery, not coppery, reddish, rusty colored water.
Bronze, if you will.
Bronze. All right, and so for the water, what I did is, one of the things that I learned when I was in the Philippines and the way they cook water or rice is they put the rice in the pot, and then basically I take it so that the water extends this much above the rice. So that is typically a 1 to 1.5 ratio. I'm going to add the onions that we had left over here. And then I'm going to put in a tablespoon or so of oil.
All.
All. Actually, I'm going to chop up more onions. I want more in there.
Wait, David, are you going to use my favorite phrase today on the cooking show? You know my favorite phrase that we use in terms in the kitchen is parchment paper.
Parchment paper.
I love parchment paper. And
Today
using
there's
parchment,
no parchment
paper.
paper.
No parchment paper.
No, parchment paper.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right. I don't want the whole onion in it. The whole onion in with all. But I want some of it, so just do a quick little chop around. Break it up, put it in here. Alrighty. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to a boil. You ever make rice on the stove? You could do this in a rice cooker or an Instant Pot if you have one.
I wish we had a rice cooker, honestly, because I hate doing it on the stove.
You do?
I'm not good at it. I always mess it up.
Well, the key is bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer and cover it, and then don't touch it. However, when you make red rice, particularly on the stove, it does have a tendency for the bottom of it to get crusty. So if you don't like as much of the hard rice on the outside of the pan, you'll want to go through once and stir it up.
I have a question here.
Yes.
Does penguin chili work for the rice? I don't even know what penguin chili means, or is.
What is penguin chili?
What is penguin chili? Good question. And then Jerry said, how do you live in Japan and not buy a rice cooker? Well, Jerry, and I'm not sure if everyone here on the audience knows this about me, so let me just recap. I lived in Japan for a while. And so did David, by the way. We actually lived there at the same time, but in different cities.
Opposite ends of the country.
Opposite ends of the country. We never knew each other at the same time. We didn't know each other while we lived there, by the way. Anyway, Jerry, I did have a rice cooker in my apartment in Japan, but when I moved home, I never got one. And that's a great question. Why do I not have one? Oh, I know, Jerry, because I don't cook.
And I know how to make rice on the stove, so I've just
And
thought, why do I want one more gadget to store?
Yeah. So whenever we do want rice, David always makes it on the stove, and every time I have tried to do it recently, and I'm just not good. I don't know, I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
I would rather have a rice cooker just because it's so easy. You just press a button.
Yeah.
And that's about as much into cooking as I'm going to get, is pressing a button.
All right, because I was thinking about Jerry saying it was a little low energy, I poured myself a little bit of Mountain Dew.
David loves Mountain Dew. Jason Crawford loves Sundrop. That's his favorite Mountain Dew type drink.
So is that the, what is it, Mr. Pibb of Dr. Pepper for Mountain Dew?
That might be a good way to classify it, sure. But it's like I don't know. Sundrop is specific. It's a Tennessee treasure, really.
Oh, is it?
It truly is.
Is it kind of like RC Cola in North Carolina, I think it is?
No, that's also Tennessee.
Oh, is
RC
it?
Cola and a moon pie. Give it a try. That's Tennessee.
Okay.
Everything great, as everyone here listening should know, comes from Tennessee.
Right.
And then Carrie says, your Instant Pot is a rice cooker. Thank you, Carrie, for reminding me, A, that I have an Instant Pot, and B, that it can also cook rice. Great.
And I did mention if you have an Instant Pot or a rice cooker, so Liz Carrie was listening.
Hold on. Your sister says, Sean says, did David just say Hassenpfeffer? Hassenpfeffer? Did you just
Did
say
I?
that?
But I've said that before, but I don't think I did today.
Because she's having Bugs Bunny flashbacks.
Yes.
And Jerry says Jake loves cheer wine. Jason Crawford calls Sundrop the redneck elixir.
The redneck elixir. So how is it different than Mountain Dew?
I don't really know how it's different from Mountain Dew. I don't remember, honestly. It's been so long. It's been a long time since I've had either of them, quite frankly. But let me taste your Mountain Dew. I haven't had Mountain Dew in forever. Let me taste it. What is cheer wine, Jerry? I don't know what that is.
Isn't it a cherry cola?
Jason says Sundrop has more sugar and tanginess to it than Mountain Dew. That's kind of what I was thinking, Jace, honestly.
Yeah.
And Jason and I lived together in college, and he always had Sundrop in our little fridge in our dorm room.
Okay.
And I stole it quite often to mix with vodka.
Oh wow.
And also one time I was so hungover, I made Jason Crawford get out of bed and go get me a
a huge bacon cheeseburger from Wendy's.
Oh.
And he did it. And he brought me back one for him and one for me, and I ate both of them.
Oh, of course you did.
He says that Sundrop also has more caffeine.
Oh, well, that's a big plus for it and worth trying.
And Margie says that sounds like a recipe for heart palpitations, and you are correct, my friend.
I can say I have never had heart palpitations from caffeine.
David drinks so much caffeine, and
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to really affect you in a big way.
Unfortunately, I wish it did. I sure drink it because I hope it does. But yeah. All right. Let's look while we're waiting for the rice to boil, because I don't want to watch pots, all of that. But I'm sure wanting it to boil. The other thing that we talked about making today, we're making Kadon Pika, and it's simmering on the stove. We're making the red rice, which is almost boiling on the stove. We've got the Finadene, and now we're going to make a quick little cucumber salad, just for something greenish to have on the table, because Jeremy frets if there's no vegetables.
I always have to have green in every meal. Also, David, tell everybody how long you lived on Guam.
Lived in Guam for 15 years. From my senior year in high school, we moved in October, or the end of September, and left 15 years later. Lived in a couple different towns, and it was interesting. It was fun. I miss a lot of my friends and the people there. I know a lot of them have moved to other places around the country, and it's fun to keep in touch with them. And anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Whoever else is out here from Guam. I don't know if Debbie Hector made it, or sorry about that, Debbie Faulkner. Habits of years of saying your name out loud and then not having for a while. Let's see. I'm just making quarters of onion for the cucumber salad that we're going to make.
Okay, everybody, since you've seen our masks, I have a third mask. So I'm going to show you the third one. Okay, what do you think about this one? So my friend John Shepard, he has a friend Larkin, like I said. Her and her husband, unfortunately, both lost their jobs in the middle of coronavirus. So she is making masks on her Etsy shop, and you buy them in 3 packs of 3. They've got all kinds of really cool fabric. So if you need any, let us know, and I'll send you her Etsy shop. But she's got really cool patterns, and they could use the money.
Giving the chicken a little stir. The rice is boiling. I've turned it down to simmer and I've covered it. I'm going back to prepping for my little cucumber salad here. You like big slices of onion, right?
I like big chunks of onions. I do. I do like things to be bigger on the large end. Let's see. Margie says she got to live with you guys for 3 months and has lots of memories of that time. And Roddy says Chili is a cartoon character that I think is a penguin. So I think there's some, Chili is a cartoon character that I think is a penguin. So I think there's some kind of penguin Chili cartoon joke reference that maybe we're not getting.
No, I know. Chili Willy.
Chili Willy, he's saying. And then your brother says, in general, does David like glass top stoves? Are you guys considering switching to gas? So we hate this stove, Roddy. We absolutely do hate.
Not a fan.
We hate all the appliances in this kitchen. But this is an apartment that we're renting. So if we, in our dream world, this would not be our kitchen.
Right. All right. Cut up some onion. The cucumbers in the fridge? Nope, they're here. All right. So we have 2 kinds of cucumbers to choose from today. This is a standard American cucumber that you're familiar with. They work just fine. This is a English or seedless cucumber. The seeds in it and the center part are not as pronounced. They don't pop and stuff like that. A lot of people don't like the seeds in a cucumber unless maybe it's pickled or prepared well enough. So if you're going to use one of these, I would slice it in half and then use a spoon and then scrape out the seeds and then make little half moons out of it. But because we have the seedless cucumber, I'm going to use that instead.
Margie says she thought she heard seagulls earlier, and if you listen right now, you can hear them right now. And she asked, are we close to the water?
Yes. Yes. So if you walk out our building, we're less than a block from the harbor, where all the ferries come in for the commuter ferries for the region.
We're right on the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
So then Roddy says, somebody else made that joke, I think. I was trying to figure it out. Cool about the stove.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to use this whole cucumber. Hope you like cucumber salad.
I do. Actually, I'm very happy you're making this. I love this.
I'm going to quarter it. All right. So it still does have pretty significant seeds. Do you like the seeds or not?
I don't really care, quite frankly. Yeah.
So I'm going to just pull half of them off for one of them, for some of it, and then the other one I'll just leave it intact. Whoops. Straight. There we go. Good enough. Just limit the number of seeds a little bit. All right. Letting the knife do the work. I'm not trying to push through it. I'm sliding the knife so that the sharp blade will actually cut the food.
And you sharpened these just like the other day, didn't you?
I did. So actually I was thinking one of these one night this week. Haven't decided on a night for sure. Maybe we can decide if anybody cares to watch. I'm actually going to, I need to sharpen all my knives really well. So I was going to sit and actually just turn on the camera and sit here, talk and chat out loud as much as I can, and sharpen the knives as I go. So if anybody cares to watch, I can plan, but I was thinking maybe Tuesday night.
Okay. I mean, we got nothing but time, babe.
I know, right? What are we doing?
And Margie says she was just thinking she doesn't know how to sharpen knives.
Yeah.
You did it for one or two of them the other night, but just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have got that other bowl that's bigger because I was going to put tomato in this. Alrighty.
So, never mind. Sorry. I thought something popped up, but it was something I already read. My bad. I apologize.
So I'll show you the difference between a sharpened knife and a not sharpened knife and why it's so helpful in the kitchen. All right. I've got an older set of steak knives or chef knives, whatever set that I bought years ago. And if you look at it, I really am pushing down quite a bit, but it's really not going anywhere. And one of the big dangers when you're cutting tomatoes with an unsharp knife is that it bruises and gets all mushy. But if you have a sharpened knife, you could, I'm trying to think, it's just, anyway, we'll just turn it over and it goes through better. That's not the sharp one. Which one did I sharpen yesterday? That one.
That one, clearly.
Yeah. Just take out this little center bit. It's a little rough where the stem was.
Those tomatoes look beautiful.
Yeah.
I have to say, the tomatoes here are good, but they're not as good as they are in the South.
Yeah. But you can see, just dragging the knife across the skin of the tomato, it went right through the skin, whereas dragging a dull knife across the skin of the tomato doesn't do anything.
A couple quick food questions about
Sure.
the recipes. Number one, from Carrie. Did David put garlic in the rice or just onion?
Just onion.
And then number two...
You can put garlic if you want.
You can if you want, okay. And then number two, they missed it. Is the cucumber peeled?
I did not peel the cucumber. You can if you want.
And also Carrie Lehman is cooking along with you, as we know. She just texted me a photo of her with you showing on her iPad next to her stove as she's cooking with a lamp light that says Cooking with David and...
What?
And the coup d'etat is she's wearing a Easy Street Records shirt.
Oh, well, I'm going to get to see it even if the rest of you don't.
And then Jerry says, true, damn, southern tomatoes. I agree. I love tomatoes in general. It's my, probably, I eat it. Actually, David and I slice up a tomato and eat them with dinner just about every night.
Yeah.
We love tomatoes. I particularly love them. But and these are good, but they're not like a southern heirloom tomato. There is nothing better.
I agree.
But it has to be from like Tennessee. Not Georgia. Georgia, the red clay ones are not good.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you buy bulk tomatoes in the grocery store, the standard ones that you buy are actually picked and shipped green, and sometimes they're exposed to gases that just make them redden, but they don't necessarily ripen. So they end up being hard and not flavorful, but red. And so when you deal with the heirloom tomatoes, they tend to be a more locally grown tomato and not shipped as far. And they tend to have a better flavor and a better texture.
So we've got a cat begging for his share of cucumber.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the basic salad stuff in the bowl. I'm going to just make a quick little like vinaigrette to pour over the top and let it marinate through. We'll use some red wine vinegar, some vegetable oil or olive oil if you prefer, a little bit of Dijon mustard, salt and pepper.
You know what? You said a little bit of Dijon mustard. I would request
a little bit. That is, actually, those are the type of words I think are my favorite words.
Oh.
Is where I take something like a little bit and a lot and then make it a lot bit.
He does this a lot.
Or running words together as they occur.
Yeah.
Or taking them and like pronouncing them with the wrong emphasis.
Yeah.
One of Roddy's favorite things was the movie when the astronaut's wife came out, and he would flip the first syllables and have the wife pronounce S.
Okay, so Jason Crawford might remember this, and Jake might remember this too, but when we were in college, Jenna used to do that a lot with people, so you would say, she would change words around. So like our boss in the museum, his name was Lloyd Nick, and she called him Noid Lick. So she would change.
Exactly.
She would change the first two letters of people's first and last names and switch them. So Lloyd Nick became Noid Lick, and it just, to me, it still makes me laugh.
Right.
It's stupid, but it makes me laugh.
So I got some red wine vinegar, and we're going to use that in the salad for a little bit.
Margie's got
Right
a
over
quick
the
question.
butter? Yeah.
I'm sorry. She wants to know, is your recipe traditional fiesta style?
For this? For which one? I don't know that I ever had cucumber salad, but I'm sure it was there.
And Margie's yes for this, she says.
Yeah.
And so for Jerry's sayings, Jerry's example of that was paved ass. So you know Dave Pass?
Yes.
We switched it. Instead of Dave Pass,
right.
It's pave ass. Paved ass.
I'm sure he loved that.
He hated it.
All right. The Mountain Dew is going in my cup, not in the vinaigrette. Okay. So I said oil. Let's see. Is this one open yet? Just fancier.
What's that?
It's just another grapeseed oil. It's just a fancier one.
A fancy grapeseed oil.
Yeah. I like grapeseed oil because it doesn't have the distinct flavor. Olive oil has a very distinct flavor.
My new favorite phrase of the day is fancy grapeseed oil.
Yeah. All right. So roughly equal parts of oil and vinegar. Jeremy wants a lot of Dijon mustard.
I do like things particularly. I like mustard a lot.
I would normally say like maybe a teaspoon, but because this is for Jeremy, and I actually don't like cucumbers very much, I'm making this for him for the greens, so we're going to pair with a lot
Awesome, thank
of
you.
mustard.
It's going to be great.
Then we're going to add a little salt and pepper. Let's see, what else do I have for this? Oh, all right.
So you got Samantha on here.
Which Samantha?
And
Sam
she's
from Alaska?
From Arizona.
Oh.
She's just watching on her tablet.
Hi.
And says that her dad used to also swap letters, and she's been cooking along, but is starting a little bit behind. Don't worry.
No problem.
Plenty of time to catch up.
Also,
we've got nothing but time here in quarantine.
Yeah. One of the nice things about this meal is it is very much a prepare it and then set aside. Right? It's not. I don't have to babysit it the whole time like I would a lot of other things. I can just put it together and go. So let's see. I want to put some dried oregano in there. For green, I don't. Where did I put it? I know I have some.
I'm so impressed with Carrie Lehman's t-shirt. Very jealous of it.
All right. I would normally put in like some chopped parsley or something like that, except they didn't have it when I went to the store. And this is part of the problem with cooking during Corona is not everything you want is necessarily available, so you have to improvise, and it all works out.
May I come get myself another drink?
What would you like?
Well, I also wanted to make sure that if anyone has forgotten, I want to make sure that you got to see how cool my quarantine mask is. Just wanted to make sure everyone got a good look at that.
All right. So I got this cute little pinkish vinaigrette. Just going to pour it over everything and give it a good stir.
Thank you.
So we you got that thing? You got it.
I got it. Thank you. Trying to stay out of your way.
No problem.
Well, that looks great.
Yay.
Cheers, everyone.
Yes. All right.
That looks wonderful.
Doesn't that look great?
It really does.
Cucumber salad,
It smells very good.
Doesn't it?
It smells I can smell the mustard.
right? It actually, I tasted one piece of tomato behind Jeremy's back while he was talking to the camera, and it's actually really good. Okay, so let's set Finadene. That looks good. Gonna just put a little taste out. I want to see. Actually, it could stand to be a little hotter. I could put in more peppers. Jeremy likes really spicy sauces, don't you?
I tend to like things to be pretty spicy, yes.
All right. So I'm going to just add these last two into the Finadene.
Just so you know that Samantha in Arizona is, you're right, the one from Alaska, from high school.
Yay! Actually, we were in grade school together, and Sam and Saturday and I were three little terrors in high school. Or
You know someone named
friends.
Saturday?
I do.
Really?
Yes.
So, remember my friend Sunday Mundy?
Yeah.
So I know someone I went to high school with. Her last name was Mundy, M-U-N-D-Y, and her parents named her Sunday, S-U-N-D-Y, so her name was Sunday Mundy.
Yeah.
Your mother says that their chicken and red rice are cooking right now.
Oh, good.
And Margie wants to know what my drink is. Well, Margie, At the beginning of the show, I wanted to let everyone know what I would be drinking today, so I did a little demonstration, and my recipe is just for a classic, simple martini. So I just use Grey Goose vodka, ice, and Clorox. Cheers.
All right. I just snuck a little spoon taste of the rice to see how it's coming along. Tastes great.
Jason says it looks great.
Yeah.
It really does look, and by the way, it smells wonderful.
All the food.
Well, everything smells wonderful, but that particularly smells very mustardy, and I love that smell.
And the chicken is just going right along. The longer we let it just slowly simmer, the more tender the meat's going to be. So I'm inclined to let it be for just a little bit longer.
Margie says she's laughing so hard about my martini recipe. I'm assuming it's about my martini recipe. If it's not, I'm still going to say it's about my martini recipe.
Right? All right. So, I'm going to just clean up my knives real quickly. Don't want to let the edges get stuck to them. So I like to...
Margie wants to make sure that I don't forget my UV light in that mix, and you're right.
Oh, right.
We've got, well, you know, we bought all these studio lights in here for David to do this show with, and so we're just going to sit underneath them for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we'll just tune them up a little bit and be ready to go. Is everybody impressed with how little mess I've made today?
Standing ovation. Cleaning as you go. Just music's my ears. You're so great at it.
Right? So one thing I was thinking about while we've got a little time, and sometimes, you know, just talk about equipment maintenance. I'm going to be doing, I think we'll do Tuesday night around 6 o'clock Pacific, which is late for people on the East Coast, but that'll let me be able to do it after work. I'll log on to the stream and just sharpen knives and talk and answer questions if you have any. But one of the things that when you're cooking, if you use non-stick frying pans and things like that, is you never want to cut through the coating on your pan. I have one non-stick pan. And so with this, I never want to use a metal spatula, because the edge of the metal is going to possibly go in and damage the surface of the Teflon. And that will then allow Teflon and whatever to leach into your food. And Teflon, when it's not stable, like in a pan the way it is actually toxic or unhealthy to humans. So you're slowly adding little bits of poison to yourself unnecessarily. So if you use these type of pans, you should always use plastic type utensils, because they don't have the sharp edges. Or possibly, like in the case with my copper frying pans, these are hand wiped tin on the inside. So this tin is there, and it provides a great non-stick coating if you get it hot and put in some oil. But it's very scratchable. So in the same way, you never want to, with these, use metal implements that'll cut through the tin, because tin can become toxic. If you've got more than about a quarter size in a pan that's exposed, you should get it resurfaced or resurface it yourself. So to hold that off and to keep it as good a usability as possible, you want to use plastic or wood implements. And one of the things that happens when you have wood ones is they're great. They're very ecological. You're not contributing to a bunch of like permanent plastic. This is lasting more than my lifetime, and these may not. But what I wanted to show here is what you do to maintain them. So I'm going to just pick out all the wood.
It's a lot of wood you got there.
I know.
Your brother says one of David's favorite words is actually.
Actually.
He says, one of David's favorite words is actually, I think. Many of his Facebook posts start with it too. I've also noticed that. Yes. We all have our go-to things.
Right.
You say actually a lot. I say so a lot.
So.
So.
All right. So. I want to show, this is a well-used cutting board. When you use a wood cutting board, you always want to hand wash it and never put it through the dishwasher. Because particularly once you break through the initial sealing surface of the wood then becomes exposed and then it will absorb the water and it'll make the glue that holds the wood come apart.
I think you have an urgent request here. Can you please review the Finadene sauce? This is for someone who's cooking along with you.
Okay.
Is it basically the same thing that you put in the chicken?
Yes. Yes. So it's kind of, I was saying before, and I'll repeat it, it's one of the key flavor profile options for the food from Guam. It's used as a marinade. It's used as the base for cooking this particular dish of chicken, and it's used as a tabletop sauce. So if you go to a big fiesta, a big party, where you've got your red meats and pork and your heavier things, you're going to end up with a Finadene that's made with soy sauce and vinegar. And if you are at the other end of the table, like where maybe there's fish and lighter things, then you'll have a lemon and vinegar. It's the same basic ratios that you would use with the soy sauce, but they swap it out with lemon.
Your brother says, did you make that cutting board? He thinks he remembers it.
Not this one, but I did make cutting boards when I was younger. Back when I had access to a wood shop. So,
back when you had, hold on, pause. Back when you had access to a wood shop. Let's dig in here. When was that?
In junior high and high school, actually, in Fairbanks, we had a great shop program at the schools I went to. And I went to wood shop, learned a little bit about drafting by hand, and once you got through that, then you were allowed to actually use the equipment to build things. I made a checkered, interesting like lamp once, and I made a chopping block. I did some like plastic. I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons when I was a child.
Whoa. Did you really?
I did.
I never knew that.
I did. Actually, I was in the newspaper for playing Dungeons and Dragons at the public library with a bunch of my friends.
You've intentionally held this from me, haven't you?
Yeah. So at one point, I just loved the idea of it. So I made a 6-sided dice that was about 2.5 inches on each side and hand polished it. And so it was like perfectly square and all of that. And I drilled in the holes for the pips on the dice. It was great.
Sean says actually is our new drinking word. Do you know what actually, Sean? Actually, I agree with you. Actually. Cheers. Cheers, actually. You know what movie I love? Love, Actually. I love that. I love that movie. Also, I love anything Hugh Grant is in, quite frankly.
Right.
That's my guilty pleasure. Hugh Grant movies.
Right. So, back to wood.
Hold on. Margie says, I never knew that about the difference between lemon juice and vinegar. Super good tip.
Yeah.
And then she said, she says, Dungeons and Dragons. Gasp. Me too, Margie, sorry.
For probably
me too.
entirely different reasons, but yes.
And then, Brody says, actually, a great idea. Actually being our word to drink with.
Okay.
Actually.
Actually.
So, hope everyone's getting actually buzzed.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a mineral oil. It's actually a compound made specific.
Whoa, you just said it. Cheers.
Oh, I did. Unconsciously too. But this is a mineral oil made for,
What's it called?
this is called Booze Blocks Mystery Oil. I got it at the sur la table actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But mineral oil will work. Probably don't use vegetable oil. Get something that's made for the purpose, because the vegetable oil will go rancid in a way that this won't. And nobody wants to cover something in an oil that's going to go rancid and then a couple months later grab it and have it stick to your hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cover half of this, and what it's going to do is it's going to help feed the wood, as it were. It's going to help reseal it so that what I cook on it is the food that's going to have this layer of surface between the food and the wood so that the food doesn't, bacteria and stuff doesn't get into the wood as easily.
Sean says booze wax. Should we show her the bottle again? And then Jerry says cheers. Eyes, 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 eyes. And
Eyes,
then
eyes.
Margie says her uptight has been on sabbatical for a few years now. Great to know.
So, see? Booze, block, mystery oil.
Mystery oil. And Carrie has a great recommendation for a spin-off.
What?
So once this show, gets picked up and becomes a huge sensation,
Woohoo!
your next spin-off show should be D&D with David.
Why not? I have not played D&D
I will move out.
since I was 13,
I will move out.
so it's going to be pushing 40 years.
This is a line we have to draw now.
All right, so I want to show you dramatically here, looking at the wood. Hopefully it'll be as dramatic on the camera as it is in real life. So this has been washed and it takes the surfacing off of the wood. So I'm going to just put down some of the oil. And just lightly rub it in. I don't know if that's going to come up.
That looks great already.
Does it?
Yeah, you can see, I'm watching through the laptop and it looks, you can definitely tell.
Yeah. See how this side is shinier and the dark wood is so much darker than just right here? See the whitish spot right here where the surface is worn out?
Tilt it a little bit, maybe. There you go, that's better.
Now you can see it's kind of got a hazy color to it.
Tilt it where the top part is leaning towards you. The top part is leaning towards you. Back, here you go. That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take these two. You see how they're very dull, kind of look ashy. So just like putting lotion on your skin. It will bring out a richness of color and it's going to protect the wood so that when I cook with it next, it's nothing that was previously cooked on it is going to, I'm not going to carry flavors from dish to dish.
And how often would you do this?
I do this every time I notice that they've been washed and are fading. So they're going to go through like a hand wash a couple times and they're going to be okay, and then they're going to have lost the oil that would otherwise be involved or be there.
Jerry has a great idea for a title of your spin-off show, D&D.
D&D.
Oh guys, do you remember Melrose Place, D&D advertising? I sure do. And then Sean says, D&D with David is so like Stranger Things. I agree, it's very retro, very kickback. I'm a big fan of anything retro.
So,
and then Gianna says she needs that oil. Thanks. So
yeah.
looks like we know what Christmas present to get for her.
Yeah. So with this, can you see the difference in these two identical spoons? That this one's shinier and the wood grain seems darker, and this one seems yellowish and pale. And that's really just because of the oil, but it also, it's going to get less shiny over time. I'll put on quite a bit and then just let it soak into the wood itself. Yeah. I should just finish the chopping board too. What was I going to say? We had just mentioned something before the comment with Diana. What was that?
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
I had something I wanted to say.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Did you want to talk about parchment paper? Because I sure do.
Not parchment paper today.
Why does no one want to talk about parchment paper but me? Parchment paper.
Parchment paper.
Well, while you're doing that, how about, if you don't mind, can I come over and invade the kitchen and make myself a refresher drink?
Sure.
And while I'm doing that, I know we've had people who have joined and have not seen my drink making skills.
Right.
So, tune in.
Are you going to pour fresh and everything?
I'm going to pour fresh and everything because that last one I poured was
a little watered down from the ice melting?
I didn't really drink it. It wasn't great.
I am doing this directly over the cutting board so that if I drop oil, it doesn't get on the counter as much.
We have a question here.
Yeah.
What kind of vinegar with the soy sauce and peppers for the chicken?
I just used white vinegar. I used red wine vinegar on the cucumber salad. I used white vinegar for the Finadene and white vinegar for the chicken.
And then your father says, bet you don't throw them into the dishwasher or leave them in the bottom of the sink either.
Ever.
Ever. Ever.
You never want to soak wood items in water.
That would be grounds for divorce.
Yeah, Jeremy may have heard my voice raised in distress on a few occasions.
I have been in trouble for that before. Eek. So for those of you who were not around at the beginning of the show, just hi, I want to reintroduce myself. I'm the assistant to this lovely creature. Wanted to show you my quarantine fashions here. But I'm going to make myself a new drink.
A new quarantine.
A new quarantine.
That was painful for you, wasn't it? To say.
Quarantini?
Yeah.
I do hate saying that.
Yep.
It's just so basic.
Basic. All right. But yeah, never leave your wood items in the sink to soak. Never put them through the dishwasher. It'll cause them to get waterlogged and break down. And they'll actually become unpleasant to use. And the same way, you should never put your cooking knives in the sink and leave them, ever. And you should never put them in a dishwasher.
So Margie, I know you're here and you wanted to talk about my martini making skills. So I got a really cool shaker here. Just fill it up with ice because I like mine really, really cold. I just added a dash of a little special Seattle ingredient.
Your lemon juice.
And then just pour in some vodka. And then all you really have to do is shake it hard. And then when you're done, I like to, my secret ingredient is just, at the bottom of a can of Clorox wipes, after you've used the can of all the wipes and everything, you throw them all out, there's always some juice or liquid, right? Residual disinfectant that kind of collects at the bottom of the can. So I just keep that in the jar here under the sink, and I just help garnish my drink with it after I pour in the vodka. So that's my special little ingredient, my little pro tip from me to you. It'll help kill coronavirus.
Sorry for laughing derisively.
And this smells amazing, by the way. And I'm very excited about it. It's one of my favorite things you make. Thank you.
Yes.
Cheers.
Oh, here.
Ding.
All right, so I boiled this all up. I'm actually going to just stick them back in here. I didn't leave enough that I have to wipe off, but I did leave enough for it to soak in.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, friends.
All right. So, how far along is everybody who is cooking along?
Okay, so Margie says, what if you don't have a shaker? Well, Margie, we've got to correct that immediately. So first of all, give me your address and
She lives in Tacoma.
and I'll send you a shaker immediately. But also, if you don't have a shaker, and by the way, I've also been in stressful situations like that before. What you can do is just fill a normal glass, put it with ice. So David, show her your big cup. You could use a cup like that, what you got, like a big plastic cup.
Right. So if you've got a cup, a glass that can fit
there you
inside the top. This one's a little too big. If it fits in,
A cup on a cup.
Cup on a cup. Oh, here.
There you go. Shake it, and there you go.
This is.
And then if you really needed to use, if you don't have a strainer, you can use
Right.
Yeah. So David, show her that mesh thing that you had, like in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
You can use something like that as
So
a
you can
strainer.
just pour it out
Pour it
through
through
one
that.
of these,
Yep.
or a big sieve, enough to catch the ice.
Come to the Spake household. We've got all your kitchen needs met. He can cook. I can do makeshift martinis on a dime. So, come on.
All right, so did anyone respond? How far are they with their own food?
All right, salad is done. Rice is cooking. Wish they had a martini, and they're starting the chicken. That was Samantha.
Yay, I'm so glad you're trying it.
Carrie says the chicken is simmering. Jerry says that she also wants a retro shaker added to her Christmas list. Done.
Whew. That's actually exactly what it should be. The heat from the peppers will disperse because of the vinegar through the mix with the soy sauce. Sorry, I've got a little heat in the back of my throat. I'm trying to talk around. It's actually really good. Actually. Those of you who are drinking along.
If you're drinking along, welcome to my world. Hope everybody's had a great week. I don't know what's it like where everybody is, but for us, we're still not really able to leave the house. So
Right. This will be the beginning of week 8 for us.
week 8 starts tomorrow.
Woohoo! Yeah, I mean, really, other than to go shopping like for food and stuff, we've been very good about social distancing and staying in our place.
Well, we both actually took Monday off from work. We're both still working from home. We both took Monday off, and we're going to just not look at computers or screens or anything for the next 2 days. Well, that's what I'm going to do.
I may or may not, but I will do much less. I mean, I've got to put updates for the show for next
That's
week.
true. You're right.
And the next 3 weeks of topics are on the schedule. So if you go to the website.
What's that website?
davidspake.com.
What was it again?
That's my first and last name, DAVIDSPAKE.com.
What was it one more time?
davidspake.com.
What was that
So
one more
stop,
time?
I'm trying to say something. On the website, you'll find the recipes that we're making. I put them up the week before I make them. Try to get them out Sunday night, Monday morning. Also, there is a schedule for all the upcoming shows. It shows the current month, and then there's a little arrow at the top. You can click and look at it, so you can see what the next 3 weeks are going to be. What we're going to make. I know we're going to make a redneck chicken one week, which is a recipe I made for Jeremy particularly because for his flavors, and
Because I'm a redneck.
must be. It's actually very good. I've made it for large parties and things like that, and it's really good. I'm going to cover the red and white pasta sauce that we talked about that has been mentioned in the last couple of weeks for people who have been tuning in. We're going to cover making that, and those are the two that are right on the top of my mind.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've got a request. I have a request. Thank
Do
you
you?
very much.
What would that be, Jeremy?
It's a request for a on-the-fly lemon drop recipe, and they have. This is from Samantha. She has Grey Goose citron. So yes, by the way, what I would do. There you go, baby. Exactly.
Let's try to make one.
If you've got, there you go. Thank you. Here's what I would do. Oh, I love this. I get to direct. Wonderful. I've always wanted to direct. This is where my skills really shine. So here, let me get you a shot glass. I need you to get the sugar out and the Grey Goose, obviously. Now I'm going to do this shot with you, Samantha.
I might as well.
Oh yes, awesome.
All right, so when I am juicing a lemon, might as well use every moment, right? I use a fork and put it into the lemon and then turn and squeeze and use it as the basis to be sure that I squish all the little juice sacs that are in citrus fruit.
Juice sacks.
Yes. Have you ever seen the little sacs when you peel apart an orange? Did you
I've
ever do that when you were a kid?
I've never heard them described quite that way.
Oh, but that's what they are.
Okay.
Actually, I think I've got beverage in the fridge called Sack, and it's
You're right. Oh my gosh, you're right. We do have that.
yeah.
I've never heard that though. I really haven't.
Yeah. So I just use the fork as the basis, or as the, I don't know, the fulcrum, I guess. I don't know the right word.
Fulcrum is one of my favorite words. I've used it a lot this week. Actually, I really have.
And I'm putting through this little spanner that we had, the little sieve, to catch all the seeds so I don't have to chase them later. Whoops, I'm making a mess.
Look at you, cleaning as you go.
Gosh. Lemon juice going everywhere. Okay. How sweet do you like yours?
Pretty sweet.
Okay. I'm actually picking out the seeds and putting in a little bit of the pulp just for fun.
Yep. Sugar. Yep. And I would mix the sugar and the lemon juice together.
Well,
And then you want to rim the shot glass with sugar itself.
in a bar, they would actually have like a little sponge.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to put a little moisture on the brim of your glass or it won't stick.
David, can we open a bar together? That would be my dream.
Right? Let's see.
Let's quit our
In.
jobs and open a bar.
I'll put it on a little plate.
You can cook, I'll man the bar, and I'll tell stories and talk to people.
Okay.
That's really all I want to do with the rest of my life, and I'm not even kidding. So Samantha, I hope you're watching along, but basically, you know, the sugar, he just dumped out a bunch of sugar on the plate. Because we want to rim the shot glasses, obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to actually put a little bit of the lemon juice on the rim too.
Nice touch.
All right. So which side do you drink out of? The back of the head?
The back of the head.
So just moisten lightly the back of the shot glass and the sugar will stick to it. Yay.
And these little shot glasses came from where we lived in Atlanta. We had this little liquor store that we loved called the Gresham Liquor Store right off the interstate exit by our house. And these people were awesome. And one time they were running out. I went there almost every Friday on the way home from work, and they would save me like what they knew I would always get. They would put it aside for me. So I would just walk in and I would walk right up and be like, hey, here's my package. But one time they were running low on Tito's vodka and they weren't getting any for like another month. And so he put like a whole case of it aside just for us and gave us these shot glasses. So we have a ton of them. So if you ever come over, they're really cool. They're these little crystal skulls.
All right, I would normally shake this in a martini shaker, except Jeremy's got his drink in it, and I don't want to mix that up. All right, looks like the sugar is pretty dissolved.
But we could have used the glass on a glass example.
Oh, we could have.
Oh well, don't worry about it now.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna make sure we can see this. Look how cute that is. Yeah, so here we go, on the fly lemon drop shots. Cheers, my love.
Cheers.
You're the best.
That's a lot of shot.
Ooh! Wow. Yes. It was amazing.
That was actually really good.
Yeah, it really was.
Okay. So, the rice is actually done on our side. So we're going to put together some plates because the chicken, I believe, is done as well.
Okay, so we got some questions here.
Sure.
So Carrie's one letting you know she's using a Saison instead of a Achilles. Did I say that right?
The achote.
Thank you. And then we have a comment here. Jeremy, can I work at your bar? And by work, I mean hang out and drink. That's what I would be doing. I would be just sitting there, hanging out, drinking, saying that I was working.
Well, his work is to keep all the customers entertained and coming back.
There you go.
So somebody has to.
Harry said that she lost signal for a second. Did David tell her about the Saison?
I did not. So Saison is a Mexican and probably I guess in Puerto Rico too, seasoning mix that is used in a lot of foods. Its primary ingredient is achote or annatto. So she's using it because that's what she had available. So it's used to make like Spanish red rice or Mexican red rice and things like that. So it'll be very similar.
Sean wants to know what's the difference between a lemon drop martini and a shot. And I don't, well, so first of all, you should never order a lemon drop martini. Let me just start right
Is
there.
that like an appletini, Jeremy?
Sorry.
No, but really, I think it's the same thing.
Pretty much, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you might have a little more juice in the
think
martini than you do in the shot.
I think you're right, David, yeah.
Yeah, so you would use the vodka, the lemon juice, sugar, stir, mix it up, a little extra lemon juice, and pour it into the martini glass. But yeah.
Oh, it's John, by the way, who
Sure.
asked to work at my bar. Of course you can work there, John.
Hey, John. All right.
But I'm a very, very bad boss, as David knows.
Well, he wouldn't be the boss of the bar.
Oh, no. Absolutely, you would be the boss. David Spake is boss.
All right. So when your rice is done cooking, it's kind of packed together. So I've got a little rice cooker paddle. I'm going to just go through and fluff the rice a little bit.
Fluff the rice.
Fluff the rice.
So every time David Spake says, fluff the rice, drink.
Well, that was it. So drink. All right. And this is perfect.
David, would you call yourself a fluffer?
Mixed company, no response. Okay. All right.
So your mother says that she might not want to work at the bar full time, but she would. I think she'd be there a lot.
Yeah. So here's what the Kadon Pika looks like when it's done cooking. Just kind of looks like chicken. I don't know if you can see the juice in the bottom, but it is so good. So I think we're supposed to like prepare a plate and eat it and enjoy it while everybody else is watching or preparing their own food.
Okay. Well, it smells wonderful, I have to say. And may I just reiterate what a great cook I think you are. Margie says she can be here in an hour and 15 minutes, and she wants doorstep pickup. So Margie, just text us when you're outside, and we'll be right down.
All right.
111 First Avenue, Margie.
Alrighty. Put up some rice for each of us. How hungry are you?
I'm not that hungry,
Okay.
but I'm hungry. I just don't want like a ton.
Right. Okay. We'll pull out of the little pot here.
It smells so good.
Jeremy likes chicken breast, so I'll give him a piece of chicken breast meat.
Thank you.
Another one.
That's plenty.
I'll
Thank
give
you.
myself a, let's see, what do I want? I think I'll take a chicken leg.
Sean wants to know what's for dessert.
I didn't make a dessert today, but I thought about it earlier. Thought about making latizza, but I would have to make a pound cake first, and I didn't put that together.
Jerry says she's hungry and she'll be on the next ferry. Jerry, get over here. Come on, get on the ferry.
All right.
Hey, Jerry, actually, that's a great idea. Why don't we social distance ferry ride together? Seriously. You ride over here, and then I'll ride over there, we'll ride back together, and then I'll ride back home by myself. That's a great idea. Let's do that.
I'm going to take a couple pieces of tomato. All right.
Jerry says David won't let you in. That is true.
That's true.
She will not let you in our apartment. But you could ferry over here, and we could meet at the ferry, then ride together.
All right. So then there's Finadene, which people would normally put on their rice. So I'm going to do that. Or their meat, whatever. Would you like some on yours, Jeremy?
Please. Thank you.
Alrighty. I'll come up over here and we'll chomp together.
Please. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to pull it apart. All right. The Kadon Pika, spicy chicken. It's very tender. It's been seething for about an hour.
It does come right apart. Oh my God.
That is exactly what it should
Oh my
taste
God,
like.
that's great.
It seems so simple, but it's actually very robust flavor-wise. It's really great.
It is great.
And the red rice has an interesting earthy quality, right?
Oh, I like that a lot. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna try this because you made it super mustardy for me.
I did.
That is wonderful.
Good.
That is wonderful. Thank you.
So yummy.
It's really great.
This is one of my top favorite things to eat that I learned about in Guam. But I'm a big fan of protein anyway, and Guam's primary dishes were all protein. Worked really well for me most of the time.
You do. You like your meat. What did you call yourself? Mediterranean?
Wow. Chicken's very, very tender.
Yep.
Just a little bit spicy, but it's not overwhelming.
It's wonderful, I must say.
Yeah. And if you have kids, you can use a little less spice in the chicken or give them some, the rice as a counter to be able to like push the spice level down a little bit. It's really good. So today we made Kadon Pika. Nice spicy stewed chicken. We made red rice, Chamorro style way of making rice. It's very different. It's not like yellow rice. It's not like the red rices you get out of Spain that are tomato based. It has a very different and unique flavor. And then we made a cute little cucumber salad.
And before we log off,
Yes.
Sean said that she wanted to get a money shot of the food.
Oh,
So hold on.
should I put together a clean plate?
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, why don't you put together a clean plate? We'll get a great shot of it because you want to take pictures of it anyway.
Right.
Okay, and then I will eat it right after that.
I'm going to make a little plate.
All right, Sean, so the money shot is coming. Please hold. I will say it smells wonderful in here, and this food is great. The chicken is good. David makes this particularly well, I must say. So if you've been following along or you want to try this recipe, I think this is one of his better ones, honestly. Everything he makes is perfect.
Yeah.
It truly is. It really honestly is. But this is, I think, one of your better, this is one of your like most distinctive things I think that you make.
Right.
This and your duck confit and that chicken thing that you made me that one time that you made for
Right. We're going to have to remake that.
that maybe is one of my top 10 best meals ever. But this is one of your standard things that you make a lot that is just a go-to that we both love.
So he's referring to the white wine coq au vin that I had made as a test dish while we were getting things done. We did like a recording test date, and the white wine Kogavan was the star of the day. Put some of this on it.
All right, money shots coming, Sean. Everybody buckle up.
Is it good enough? I am not.
I think you should put more on that.
Of what?
More of that. More of the tomato stuff.
And then we'll put a little bit of Finadene. We'll cut out a couple peppers on the top.
Oh, that looks great.
Shows
All right,
here.
perfect.
All right. Leave the Finadene on the side. Let me wipe down the counter so we don't get schmutz in the...
Because you're cleaning as you go. God, are you the most perfect human ever?
I'm getting there.
I think you're already there if you ask me.
Well, this wipe down isn't doing very good. I need to get those.
That's all right. She just wants to see the food. She doesn't care about the counter. Look at that. Come on. Come on.
How does that look, everybody?
It looks amazing. David Spake just whipped that up. And here's the sauce.
Yeah, see all the pieces of peppers and onions? Exactly what you want. Nice big chunks.
Look how cute he is.
I want to say thank you to everybody, even though we're not going to cut off immediately, but I do want to say thank you to everybody who took the time to log in and to cook along and support and participate. I really love it. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to keep eating for a minute, and then we'll answer any questions that anybody has. We're going to look for Tuesday night, 6:30 Pacific. I guess it's 9:30 Eastern. I'm going to just sit here. I'm going to move the computer monitor right here so I can chat, and I'll watch that while I sharpen my knives, and we'll hang out if you need it. Awesome.
Everyone says looks great. Thank you, and see you next week.
Yay! Have a good night, everybody. Or a good day.
Bye.
Hope you enjoy it.
Everyone says looks great. Thank you, etc. Gorgeous plate. Yummers.